Hello everyone and welcome back to 10 tips and tricks in Rainbow Six Siege to help you instantly improve. If you're a newcomer and you haven't seen this series before, it's because I post it a bit infrequently, but I promise you I'm trying to post it more often. Each tip/trick will be timestamped, so if you'd like to skip to a specific one, feel free to. All I ask is, if you enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like button, sub if you haven't already, and comment your favorite weapon in Rainbow Six Siege. Let's jump straight into this. So this first one is going to be an angle on the map Outback. When the bomb is in the location of both piano and laundry, which most players would typically refer to just as being the dorms bomb site, instead of reinforcing the wall that looks into games, what you actually want to do is make some holes in the wall, and it will give you a really nice pixel angle between this little stack as well as the bomb chassis beside it. I done this in rank the other day and got a 2k from it, and as much as I feel sad that I am exposing this angle which I've used for a while, I'm here to make content and I'm here to help you improve. I do realize that me exposing this angle is probably going to result in a lot of people being aware of it, but even if the attackers do know that you are on this angle, you still have the inherent advantage because they are going to have to peek into you. So as long as you have a decent reaction time, you're still going to win the gunfight. Now, a lot of people do actually reinforce this soft wall so people on games window don't start shooting people into piano, which is fair enough, but I think this is definitely a better way of holding games, and you should definitely try this in your next match. Bonus points if you bring a defender who has an ACOG, because it will help you see it out the window a bit more easily. Right, this next one is going to be focused on the modernized maps. As of the time of recording, there are only 5 of them, but next season in Year 10 Season 3, Nighthaven Labs, Lair, and Consulate will get modernized. And in Season 4, it'll be Theme Park, Skyscraper, and another map which is also getting a rework at the same time. We don't know what that is yet. But this is going to involve Thorn and her Razor Blooms, as well as the gas pipes which are on the modernized maps. Now, this location I'm specifically showing is one I frequently have started to use, and it has been working for me, but this works with any gas pipe in the game. Pretty much when Thorn's Razor Bloom explodes, it will also trigger the gas pipe to instantly explode as well. This means that you can use Thorn as a trigger for the gas pipes, and the reason why this works so well, especially in the example you can see, technically when the Razor Bloom was detonated, she stood out of its radius, so she thought she was safe. Because remember, we're not killing them with the Razor Bloom here. However, something she didn't take into account is that the Razor Bloom was going to trigger the gas pipe, which then was in the radius to kill her. So that's what makes this strat so good, is that not only will it detonate the gas pipe, but it will also lead your enemies into a false sense of security. They walk into a Razor Bloom, they step back thinking they're outside of the radius, but then that chain reaction of the gas pipe pushes the explosion towards them, and you've just snagged yourself a free kill. Like I did say, this isn't the only location you can do this. This works with every single gas pipe, and as well as this, the more maps that get modernized, the more ways we're going to be able to use Thorn in this way. I'm actually quite excited to see how this is going to turn out, so if you find any strats involving Thorn and gas pipes, be sure to tag me in them, because I want to see it. Now, this next one is going to be a very interesting and unique way to counter Clash. As you may all know, Clash got a remaster this season, and she can now place her CCE shield on the floor and leave it and walk away, but still remotely activate the electricity on and off. However, when you put it in its place state, it has the same properties as a standard deployable shield. Explosives will destroy it, same way that you can destroy Osa's Talon shields and deployable shields. That's not the tip. The little tip here is when Brava comes into play, because you can actually hack Clash's shield if it is placed using Brava's clutch drone. Now, it won't make the shield an attacking shield, but it also won't destroy it the same way it destroys Scopos, for example. It will do something a bit similar though. So you have to be behind the shield to do this. You can't hack it from the front of the shield, but if you hack the little control panel where Clash activates the electricity, it will cause it to overheat and fry the system. This just completely removes the electronic function for the rest of the round. She can still use the shield like a standard shield, but she won't be able to zap anyone. It just takes that part of the ability away and turns it into a standard ballistic shield. It won't destroy it, she can still pick it up, but she can't zap. Just a very interesting and unique way to counter Clash, which I don't think a lot of people were aware of because of how niche it can be, and it may not be the most effective, but it's definitely good to keep in mind. So with the new operator ban system in Siege X, a lot of the time the primary hard breachers are being banned, that being Thermite, Ace, and Maverick. Now, secondary hard breach charges do exist, but the holes are quite small. So here is how you open an entire breach with Hibana. Very simply, you want to set your Cairo launcher to the 4 pellet option and aim it right at the very top of the breach and right at the very bottom. You want to get this as tight as possible. If you make it too high or too low, it will not work. And then once Hibana detonates these pellets, the wall should be completely soft. If it isn't, you've done it wrong. You can then open this using a shotgun or any form of soft destruction explosion, for example, to then just open this like a normal wall. It's not the most convenient way to open a breach, especially since they take quite long to detonate, so you can be quite prone to bandit tricking or Kaid tricking. That being said, however, it is a great thing to know, and it's a tool that you can use at your arsenal, and just because it may not be the best method, sometimes it might be all you have. It's still a bigger breach than a secondary hard breach charge, so it's always one of those things you should just keep at your disposal in case you need to do it. Ever since the new ban system, it has started to happen more and more with this strat, so make sure you understand how it works. This next is going to be a way to counter Dokkaebi, which a lot of people don't realize. So when there is a Dokkaebi on the attacking team, whenever a defender dies, they drop their phone. This then gives Dokkaebi the opportunity to hack it and then gain access to the defender's cameras. Well, if your fellow defending teammate dies and they drop their phone, simply shoot the phone. It will get destroyed, and then Dokkaebi can no longer come up to it and hack it. This isn't convenient all the time. You may have a teammate who went on a solo roam, got killed, and then Dokkaebi was able to hack it. But if you're playing with someone, or let's say they died right beside you, and maybe you're trying to get away, just quickly destroy the phone so Dokkaebi doesn't have a chance to hack it, and then you can still keep your feeds safe. This has actually been a way to counter Dokkaebi ever since she came out, but I've not really seen any people ever really talk about it or use it. And there's a lot of situations where I see a lot of people just simply don't know that it happens this way, and they miss out on the fact that they could have countered Dokkaebi. So keep this in mind. It's a little bit niche, but that's the beauty of Siege, is all these little niche moments coming together, and there will be scenarios where this will benefit you. So this next one is going to involve an interesting way of using a deployable shield. When you hold a deployable shield in your hand, it does form some level of protection. Not a lot, it will only kind of protect your middle torso, but this does work in some scenarios. Take a look at this clip of me stuck in the closet on Villa, and I had no way out. I was getting pinched, and I wanted to go assist Alicia, who is in the other bomb site. I could have just risked running and hoped that the lion didn't have enough reaction time, but I wanted to see if this would work, so I picked up the deployable shield, and the shield actually protected the bullets, and I was able to get back into sight and hit some pretty decent shots, and we would go on to win the round. But I thought that was a really funny play, and it does genuinely show that even at a high rank setting, this is a somewhat viable thing you can do. Now, as you can see in the scenario I was in, it's another very niche scenario. I'm not saying always walk around with a deployable shield in your hand and act like you're a shield operator. I'm not saying that at all. But I, in this pinch, was able to pick up a deployable shield, hold it in front of me, and use it to escape closet. It's the little things like this which separates good and great players, so that's why it's important that you watch these videos. This next is going to be a little strat for Legion. The way Legion's hitbox works is a bit weird in my opinion. I actually don't like how his hitbox works, and I think it should be refined a bit more. But this is how it works, so I can't complain, and I am going to just have to run with what we have. So if you have a window and you tear down the barricade, placing a goo mine in the middle of the window will allow you to re-barricade it, but it will also goo anyone who repels up to that window. They don't even have to jump in. Just them simply touching the goo mine will activate it, and then they are going to be affected by the goo's effect whilst on repel. Now, something which is worth noting here is it can be a bit janky with the hitbox. Sometimes it just simply won't detonate it. I believe they do have to kind of be above the goo mine, near like foot level, for it to activate, but then sometimes it wasn't doing that for me. So I want to still showcase this trick, but just know it's not necessarily the most reliable mechanic in the world here. So just keep that in mind if you are going to use this, that sometimes it may not work. Even if you don't get like a kill initially off of it, it slows down the attacker because they have to then get off repel to pull it out. And you're also getting that sound cue notification that they are on that window. You probably already heard that from the repelling noise anyway, but it just gives you that extra layer of security that you know that someone is on that window and you can act accordingly off of it. Again, I don't think this should be a thing. I don't like how Legion's goo mines radiuses work, but that's how it is, so you might as well use it. Right, this next one is another great angle you should be using on bank when attacking stock. So stock has 2 double windows, and it's very dangerous to peek a lot of the time, and most of the time the gunfight can actually go either way. But if you spawn by the alleyway and head your way to the roof, you can wiggle yourself on top of this sort of plant fixture below you, and then you're able to shoot directly over the top of the barricade and cut off the angle on the double door. Most of the time, people aren't necessarily going to be looking this high up, but this is becoming a very common angle these days, so a lot of people will be prepared for this. But even if you just take anything from this tip, you can be aware that people may be up there as well, so you don't have to necessarily use it. But this just allows you to cut off this sort of top angle on bank, take people by surprise, especially with stock being such an important room to hold when doing an upstairs attack. I'm actually surprised a lot of people don't play Nomad on this map, because if you lose stock control and you're playing top square, you're kind of stuffed. And this next tip is when you're going to be going against a Monty and he is full extended. A lot of people still don't know this from when they done the shield rework, but Monty got a bit of a nerf when he is full extended. If you keep meleeing him, it will eventually break him enough that you have a massive opportunity to take him out. Like, to the point where his entire body is just fully exposed. Now, this is a build-up effect. If you take breaks between the melees, this won't happen. You have to keep piling it and piling it and piling it until he's eventually exposed. Don't let Monty just sit in the corner whilst you attempt to go for the diffuser. Keep hitting him, take him out, and move on from there. This next one is a brilliant angle you should use on Oregon to cut off the rotation between attic and kids' dorms. Now, what you need to do is go on armory window, and if you look over the top of the middle armory stack and destroy these wooden pallets and bring a Zofia, Ash, or other form of explosives to make a hole, you can see all the way through the single door, straight through the head holes on attic, and you will be able to cut off the rotation. Now, as you can imagine, this is reliant on 2 things. The first being that they even have head holes to begin with, and the second being that they haven't reinforced the armory wall. A lot of people like to hold Oregon top floor in a similar but different way. Some people like to do the head holes. A lot of people like to do the head holes, shall I say. Myself and a lot of high-ranking players don't really do head holes anymore in attic. Typically, it's best just to funnel everyone through the single door, and it also just helps you hold at attic way more than getting pinched from like top armory. But for the most part, a lot of players will still have these holes here, and they also won't reinforce armory. It just depends on the lobby you're in. It just depends at the time. But when these 2 walls are soft and it does create this angle, you can easily cut off the rotation and make something from it. I just love this one because no one expects you to be this high up, even on the window, and they're going to really struggle to fight back from this angle, especially if they're crouching their way through a rotation hole. And so everyone, those were 10 tips and tricks in Rainbow Six Siege to help you instantly improve. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you want to see another episode soon. Make sure you sub if you haven't already, because I post everything Rainbow Six Siege related. And finally, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, do what makes you happy, tell your mum you love her, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.